Have you ever wondered how some people manage to maintain unwavering focus even in times of uncertainty? Life is like a drifting boat. The direction you take is determined by the strength of your thoughts, said Antipater of Tarsus, a Stoic philosopher whose ideas still resonate strongly today. In a world filled with distractions and constant challenges, mastering the mind and cultivating unbreakable focus becomes not just desirable, but essential. In this video, we will explore the Stoic secrets that can help you develop this skill in 2025 and beyond. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that emphasizes reason, self-discipline, and resilience, offers valuable tools for facing life with clarity and purpose. At a time when attention is a scarce commodity, the ability to concentrate on our priorities becomes a true superpower. Through the teachings of Antipater and other Stoics, we can learn to silence the external cacophony and connect with our inner selves. Over the next few minutes, you will discover how to apply these ideas in your daily life, becoming more productive and serene. You may ask yourself, how is it possible to cultivate this mental strength amidst so many distractions? The succinct answer lies in practicing some Stoic techniques that help us redirect our focus and maintain calm in the midst of chaos. Let's delve into concepts like the dichotomy of control, which teaches us to distinguish between what we can and cannot control. This understanding is crucial for releasing anxiety and directing our energy toward what truly matters. Throughout this video, you will also learn about the importance of daily reflection and meditation, practices that the Stoics valued as ways to strengthen the mind and clarify goals. We live in a world that often pushes us toward an excess of stimuli, but Stoic teachings encourage us to slow down, observe, and act with intention. This not only improves our ability to focus, but also offers us a new perspective on the meaning and purpose of our actions. Get ready for a journey that can transform the way you think and act. By applying the Stoic secrets we will discuss here, you will not only enhance your ability to concentrate, but also equip yourself with a mindset that values serenity and resilience. Together, let's explore how mastering your mind can lead to a richer and more meaningful life, where focus becomes a powerful tool in your hands. Stoicism, a philosophical school that emerged in ancient Greece, is often associated with prominent figures such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Its origins date back to the 3rd century BC, when Zeno of Citium began teaching in Athens. Stoicism developed as a response to the uncertainties and turmoil of life, offering a way to understand adversity and find inner peace. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic thinkers, wrote extensively about the importance of reason and virtue as pathways to happiness. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the leading Stoic masters, emphasized the idea that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control our reactions to those events. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, brought Stoic teachings into everyday life, reflecting on the practice of philosophy in his work, Meditations, where he wrote about the need to face difficulties with courage and gratitude. Over the centuries, Stoic teachings have been rediscovered and reinterpreted, especially in times of crisis. In the modern era, Stoicism has gained significant relevance, especially in light of the uncertainties that permeate contemporary life. In a world filled with challenges such as rapid technological change, climate crises, and economic instability, many people feel overwhelmed and anxious. It is in this context that Stoic principles become valuable, offering a framework for dealing with adversity. Contemporary issues like work-related anxiety, social media pressure, and political uncertainties are challenges that can be approached through the Stoic lens. For example, the dichotomy of control, a central concept in Stoicism, teaches us to distinguish between what we can and cannot control. This understanding is powerful because it allows us to focus our energies on actions that are within our control, while calmly accepting what is beyond our reach. By applying this philosophy in our daily lives, we start to realize that many of the concerns that plague us are, in fact, energy-wasting distractions. Instead of worrying about others' opinions, or events we cannot change, we can direct our focus to what truly matters, our attitudes and actions. Furthermore, Stoicism invites us to cultivate resilience. Instead of being beaten down by difficulties, we are encouraged to see them as opportunities for growth. This mindset is especially important in a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable. Through Stoic practice, we can develop a worldview that helps us remain calm amidst the storm. By adopting a Stoic perspective, we come to understand that life is filled with ups and downs, and that each experience, whether positive or negative, can teach us something valuable. Stoics also remind us of the importance of reflection and self-analysis. In a world that values speed and superficiality, taking time to reflect on our actions and decisions is an essential practice. By examining our reactions and choices, we can identify patterns that help us improve continuously. This practice of self-assessment allows us to live more consciously and intentionally, aligning our actions with our values and principles. The relevance of Stoicism also manifests in its emphasis on virtue as the supreme good. In a time when values such as material success and social approval often dominate our lives, Stoic philosophy invites us to reevaluate what truly matters. Virtue, according to the Stoics, is the only thing we can consider truly good, as it guides our actions and helps us live in accordance with our principles. By focusing on virtue, we find a sense of purpose that transcends the external fluctuations of life. In summary, Stoicism offers a wealth of insights that are incredibly pertinent to our modern reality. Looking to the lessons of figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, we find a source of wisdom that helps us face contemporary challenges with confidence and clarity. The Stoic approach teaches us that, regardless of external circumstances, we always have the power to shape our reactions and thus our life experience. As we encounter the uncertainties and adversities of 2025 and beyond, Stoic principles can serve as an anchor, providing stability in turbulent times and guiding us toward a fuller and more meaningful life. The practice of Stoicism invites us to embrace life with all its complexities, to accept the things we cannot change, and to focus on what truly matters. As we move forward in an increasingly challenging world, Stoic teachings offer us not just a philosophy, but a way of life that promotes inner peace, resilience, and virtue. By applying these principles, we can enhance our ability to maintain unwavering focus and serenity, even in the face of adversity. Thus, looking to the future, we can feel more prepared to face whatever comes our way, armed with the wisdom of the great Stoic philosophers who preceded us. The human mind is a vast territory, filled with challenges and opportunities. In a constantly changing world, where distractions are always lurking, Stoic philosophy offers us a guiding light. One of the fundamental concepts of Stoicism is the importance of virtue and wisdom. Antipater of Tarsus, a lesser-known but no less relevant Stoic philosopher, reminds us that virtue is not just a theory, but a practice we must cultivate daily. Virtue, for the Stoics, is the only truly good thing, and wisdom is the means by which we discern what is really important in our lives. Imagine facing a stressful day at work, where tight deadlines and excessive demands are overwhelming your mind. In that moment, the virtue of patience can be your ally. Instead of succumbing to frustration, you can choose to respond with calm and clarity. Wisdom teaches us to see situations in a new light, recognizing that difficulties are opportunities for growth. By cultivating patience, you not only improve your performance at work, but also protect your mental health. The practice of virtue teaches us to act according to our values, even when the pressure is intense. On the other hand, in personal conflicts, the virtue of empathy can transform the dynamics of a heated discussion. Instead of focusing on finding the reason for your anger, you can try to understand the other person's point of view. Wisdom guides us to realize that everyone has their own struggles and challenges. This understanding can lead to more constructive dialogue and peaceful resolution. Thus, virtue and wisdom intertwine, offering a clear path amid emotional chaos. Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus emphasized that virtue is sufficient for happiness. For them, living according to virtue is the true aim of life. They believed that by focusing on our actions and reactions, we can free ourselves from external control and the opinions of others. By cultivating virtue, we become less susceptible to external adversities. The practice of virtue becomes a shield against stress and anxiety, allowing our minds to remain focused and calm. Reflecting on how these Stoic principles can be applied today, it is important to recognize that stress and conflict are inevitable. However, the way we choose to react to them is in our hands. Wisdom, as the Stoics taught, is knowing what we can control and what we must accept. By focusing on our reactions and how we behave in the face of adversity, we can transform challenging situations into learning and growth experiences. By practicing virtue daily, we begin to notice tangible changes in our lives. Our ability to maintain focus on our goals strengthens, and mental clarity becomes a reality. Over time, our minds become a more serene space where wisdom can flourish. The pursuit of virtue teaches us to be more resilient, to face challenges with a new perspective, and to see each obstacle as an opportunity. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by information and distractions, the practice of virtue and wisdom becomes essential. By cultivating these principles, we not only improve our own lives, but also positively influence those around us. When we act with virtue, we inspire others to do the same. This chain of positivity and resilience can create a more harmonious environment, whether at work, at home, or in our social interactions. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true happiness and inner peace come from within. By focusing on cultivating virtue and wisdom, we become the protagonists of our own story. Every challenge we face becomes an opportunity to practice and reinforce these values. Over time, this practice solidifies into our personality, making us more balanced and focused individuals. In conclusion, the importance of virtue and wisdom, as taught by the Stoics, is a powerful tool in our arsenal against the adversities of modern life. By dedicating ourselves to cultivating these qualities, we not only improve our ability to face challenges, but also find a greater purpose in our daily actions. The Stoic journey is a constant quest for self-knowledge and growth, and by embracing these principles, we can navigate the turbulent waters of life with unwavering focus and a clear mind. In the end, it is we who shape our reality, and virtue and wisdom are the paths that lead us to a fuller and more meaningful life. In the search for unbreakable focus, a fundamental concept that emerges from Stoic philosophy is the practice of emotional detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference, but rather the ability to observe our emotions and reactions without being dominated by them. In a world full of uncertainties, where losses and disappointments are inevitable, cultivating this skill is essential to maintaining serenity and mental clarity. Imagine facing a difficult situation, such as losing a job or ending a relationship. It is natural to feel sadness, frustration, or even anger. However, the Stoics teach us to observe these emotions without fully identifying with them. Instead of being swept away by the current of our emotional reactions, we can position ourselves as spectators of our own lives, recognizing that while emotions are valid, they do not define who we are. A practical example of this can be found in the life of someone who, upon losing a job, chooses not to be defeated. Instead of sinking into self-pity, this person reflects on what they can learn from the experience. Emotional detachment allows them to see the situation as an opportunity for growth. Rather than clinging to the pain of loss, they focus on future possibilities, perhaps deciding to reinvent themselves or seek new career paths. Another example can be seen in situations of disappointment, such as failing an important project. It is common to feel discouraged or frustrated in such circumstances. However, by practicing emotional detachment, we can analyze the situation objectively. Stoicism invites us to ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of sinking into feelings of guilt or inadequacy, we can use the experience as a springboard. for personal development. Reflecting on how Stoic figures like Marcus Aurelius dealt with these situations, we find valuable teachings. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often spoke about the impermanence of things and the importance of keeping the mind focused on what we can truly control. He understood that emotions are natural reactions, but that true wisdom lies in how we choose to respond to those emotions. By practicing detachment, Marcus Aurelius focused on living according to reason and Stoic principles, regardless of external circumstances. He recognized that while he could not control the events of life, he could always choose his attitude toward them. This perspective helped him remain centered, even in times of crisis, and serves as a powerful example for us. The practice of emotional detachment also teaches us to value the present moment. Often we become trapped in lamentations about what we have lost or worries about the future. Detachment invites us to let go of these ties, allowing us to live more intensely in what is before us. When we detach ourselves from what we cannot change, we find space for gratitude and a deeper appreciation of the experiences we still have. It is important to note that detachment does not mean not caring. On the contrary, it is a way to love and value things without depending on them for our happiness. Love, relationships, and experiences are precious, but we must remember that their essence does not lie in possession but in living them. When we practice emotional detachment, we learn to love freely, allowing people and situations to come and go in our lives without causing us suffering. Adopting this stance is a continuous exercise. It involves questioning ourselves about what truly matters and what we can let go. When facing difficulties, we can ask ourselves, are these emotions permanent or temporary? And by recognizing that many of our concerns are temporary, we find the strength to move forward. The practice of emotional detachment also reflects in our ability to forgive. Often, we cling to hurts and resentments that can consume us and distract us from our focus. However, by practicing detachment, we learn to release these heavy feelings. Forgiving does not mean forgetting, but rather choosing not to allow the past to control our lives. The freedom that comes from forgiveness is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. As we deepen our practice of emotional detachment, we also begin to notice a shift in our perspective. We start to see challenges as opportunities for learning and pain as a chance for growth. This shift in mindset is essential for unbreakable focus. When we are not trapped by our emotions, we can direct our attention to what truly matters, whether that is achieving a personal goal, improving our relationships, or simply living the present moment fully. The Stoics remind us that life is a series of ups and downs, and that true wisdom lies in how we navigate these experiences. The practice of emotional detachment is not a magic solution, but rather a powerful tool that helps us cultivate resilience and mental clarity. By accepting that emotions are part of the human experience but do not need to dictate our behavior, we can live with more authenticity and purpose. Therefore, as we face the challenges of 2025 and beyond, let us remember the lessons of the Stoics and the importance of emotional detachment. By embracing this practice, we not only become more focused and balanced, but also more capable of living full and meaningful lives. The journey may be filled with uncertainties, but the way we respond to those uncertainties ultimately lies in our hands. And by choosing detachment, we find the freedom to live with intention and clarity, regardless of external circumstances. Living in accordance with nature is a central concept in Stoic philosophy, inviting us to reflect on our role in this vast universe. For the Stoics, nature does not only refer to the physical world around us, but also to the human nature that resides within each of us. Understanding this is crucial for cultivating a life of integrity and rationality. When we talk about living in accordance with nature, we refer to the idea that we should align our actions and thoughts with the order and reason that permeate the cosmos. This implies recognizing that greater forces are at play, and that by accepting our place in this system, we can act more effectively and harmoniously. Accepting our role in the world can be challenging, especially in a society that often pushes us to seek status, wealth, and recognition. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that true happiness does not come from external factors, but rather from our internal state of being. When we adopt the Stoic perspective, we begin to understand that our true nature is to be rational, and living in accordance with this rationality allows us to act with integrity. This means that we should make decisions based on reason and not on fleeting emotions. By acting in accordance with nature, we can free ourselves from the shackles of anxiety and fear, finding a more peaceful and balanced path. A practical example of living in accordance with nature is how we deal with adversities. Instead of resisting or complaining when we face difficulties, we can accept them as part of life. The Stoics believe that challenges are opportunities for growth and learning. When we accept that difficulties are inevitable, we can approach them with an open mind and a calm heart. This does not mean we should resign ourselves to fate, but rather that we should act with wisdom and courage in the face of challenges. By doing so, we cultivate an inner strength that allows us to face any storm with confidence. Furthermore, living in accordance with nature also involves acting with integrity in our interactions with others. The Stoics emphasize the importance of virtue and character. This means we should strive to be just, honest, and respectful individuals, regardless of external circumstances. When we act with integrity, we not only respect ourselves, but also contribute to the harmony of the world around us. Our human nature connects us, and when we treat others with dignity and respect, we are living in harmony with that connection. Reflecting on the importance of living in harmony with nature, we can turn to the words of Seneca, who said that life is like a play. It does not matter how long it lasts, but how well it is performed. This quote reminds us that the value of our actions lies not in the amount of time we have, but in the quality with which we live. By living in accordance with nature, we ensure that our interpretations of life are authentic, aligned with our values and principles. This helps us find inner peace, as we know we are being true to ourselves and others. Another classic example in Stoic philosophy comes from Epictetus, who stated that it is not the things that disturb us, but the opinions we have about them. This idea encourages us to examine our reactions and perceptions. Often, we let ourselves be swayed by external opinions and social pressures, which distance us from our true nature. By remembering that we have control over our reactions, we can choose how to respond to situations instead of simply reacting impulsively. This conscious choice is one of the keys to living in harmony with nature. Acceptance is a central theme in Stoic practice. Accepting what we cannot change frees us from the weight of frustration and sadness. Stoic philosophy teaches us that by accepting reality as it is, we can find inner peace. This does not mean we should be passive, but rather that we should focus on what is within our reach. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, by cultivating thoughts that align with reason and nature, we enhance our ability to find true happiness. The practice of living in accordance with nature also invites us to reflect on the impermanence of life. Everything around us is transient, and by accepting this truth, we can let go of unrealistic expectations. This allows us to live the present more fully and meaningfully. Instead of worrying about what may happen tomorrow, we can focus on what is before us now. This is one of the most powerful lessons that Stoic philosophy offers us. Therefore, as we look to the future, especially in a year like 2025, we must remember that living in accordance with nature is an ongoing practice. It is a commitment to being authentic, acting with integrity, and cultivating our rationality in all circumstances. By doing this, we not only improve our lives but also contribute to a more harmonious world. Through acceptance, reflection, and conscious action, we can create an internal space where peace and clarity prevail, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. The real challenge is to apply these teachings in our daily lives. Modern life often distracts us from our purpose and distances us from our true nature. Therefore, it is essential to take breaks, reflect, and reconnect with our core values. The constant practice of these Stoic virtues will enable us not just to survive, but to thrive, even in times of uncertainty. By living in accordance with nature, we find a clear and distinct path that guides us toward true wisdom and inner peace. In this video, we explore the Stoic secrets for unwavering focus in 2025, guided by the teachings of the philosopher Antipater of Tarsus. Throughout our journey, we discuss how Stoic philosophy can be a powerful ally in the pursuit of a more disciplined and focused mind. We learn that the practice of mindfulness and acceptance of circumstances are fundamental to cultivating a resilient mindset. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot, allowing us to direct our energy toward actions that truly matter. By applying these principles in our daily lives, we can transform challenges into opportunities for growth. When we encounter distractions or difficulties, let us remember the words of Antipater: "True freedom is the freedom of the mind." This reminds us that our inner peace and focus depend on how we react to external events. By practicing gratitude and detachment, we can not only improve our concentration, but also enrich our life experience. Now it is time to take action. Start incorporating Stoic teachings into your daily routine. Take a moment to reflect on your priorities and what truly deserves your attention. Set aside unnecessary distractions and focus on what brings value to your life. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Share your experiences in the comments and invite friends to join us on this journey of self-discovery. To conclude, remember the words of Seneca: "Luck favors the prepared mind." May this reflection inspire you to shape a more focused, balanced, and fulfilling future. The power to transform your life is in your hands. Let us walk together on this Stoic path toward self-knowledge and true mental freedom.